Why do we pick ourselves apart and decide that we are unacceptable and not worthy of having meaningful connections? Maybe you can relate to this question from an external point of view, focusing on a body part or disapproval somehow of your physical appearance and how you see yourself. But maybe you can relate to this from an internal point of view, focusing on past hurt, heartache, disappointment, shame, guilt, anger, resentment, regret, unworthiness, or feeling like you have nothing relevant to contribute. In either case, some of our beliefs about feeling unworthy and unacceptable are visible in our physical appearance, and for others, it is an inward struggle that no one knows about because we're really good at keeping things hidden within and never looking at it so that it can be healed. And we tend to bury these feelings deep within and carry them with us like invisible luggage, and we repeat past experiences believing that this time it's going to be different because the faces are different, but the experiences repeat themselves because we haven't dealt with the pain of the past yet. So just because we keep it locked away doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean it doesn't affect our relationships and the ability to connect at a deeper level, which is what we ultimately desire. So we can look at an example of this woman. She seemingly has it all, and maybe you can relate to this in some way, shape, or form. She has a nice figure. She has nice hair, nice clothes. She's got a good career, money in the bank. She has a nice car and a beautiful home, yet she's silently suffering and she's really unhappy, and she hates herself because she's unable to have a deeply connected relationship. So you would ask, why would someone who seems to have it all have so little self-acceptance and love for themselves that they're unable to open up and connect at a deeper level? Because that really is what needs to happen. We need to be able to open up and connect at a deeper level. But connecting with others, whether it's romantic or friendship, has nothing to do with the things we have. We connect with others through resonance and our shared experiences. So in order for us to resonate with another, we have to be able to be vulnerable and open about who we are and where we're at in our life. This isn't easy for a lot of people because many people have never seen themselves for who they are, and they haven't come to love the various aspects of what makes them unique. So they show up in the world thinking that they have to present themselves in a certain way, or they have to behave in a certain way, or be a certain way, or look a certain way, or have certain things, or have achieved a level of success. And that's all good and fine. We can hide behind the facade for a while, but eventually it catches up with us, it takes a toll on us, and we become deeply dissatisfied and unhappy with ourselves, our life, our relationships, because we are disconnected from the deeper part of who we are. Ultimately, humans need connection. People need other people. And when you look around the world in the state of things going on in the world right now, there's never been more disconnection from one another, I believe, in our history. But aside from all of that, what we crave is a deeper emotional connection to ourselves and to another. I think deep within, we really do crave wanting to know who we are and to be able to be seen and heard and visible and accepted for who we are. We're craving that depth of connection to ourselves, and we also want to be able to connect at a deep level with somebody else. But this type of connection requires us to be able to trust somebody with our secrets, to trust that, somebody has our backs, and we want to be able to feel safe in their presence and just be able to relax and be ourselves. But again, we don't trust others based on our past experiences. And so we build a wall. And for some of us, we build a castle. And this castle doesn't even have a drawbridge, but it sure has a deep moat with plenty of things lurking in the water that's going to keep people out, because we think we're safe behind these walls. But unfortunately, all of this safety just brings us more unhappiness. It doesn't make us happy in the long run. So in order to have this deeper emotional connection, we need to be able to feel confident in who we are. And knowing who we are requires that we come to a level of understanding that imperfections are acceptable. And when we think about trying to achieve this state of perfection, we have to ask the question, like, who really set the standard on what perfection looks like? There is nobody out there that is perfect, but there is certainly a lot of judgment out there, and that's a tough thing to overcome. But the more you know yourself, the more you are honest with yourself, with where you're at in your life and who you are, and really accepting yourself at a very core level, the less susceptible that you are to the judgments of others. And the other thing that I want to say about this is that in many cultures, there are beliefs that have been handed down from generation to generation. The investigation then becomes, does what has been culturally the belief and tradition for so long, does that still apply to me today? Because, there's a saying, to thine own self be true, and life transforms and is always transforming. So there's a challenge in there. I think the thing that's really important to know is that we are not unlike anyone else, and anyone else is not unlike us. We're all connected, and at various times in our lives, we have similar experiences, similar life experiences. I hear it a lot from women that, we don't want to be vulnerable, and we don't want to feel exposed. We don't want to open our hearts to be hurt. We don't want to be abandoned or rejected or be taken advantage of, right? We don't want to show the scars that live in our heart. And we have somehow determined that imperfection, not knowing it all, that was a thing for me. I always felt like I had to know it all. I don't believe that to be true anymore. Or not having it all, or not having the exact right words or at the exact right time, somehow makes us feel unworthy or unacceptable or not good enough. Yet, when we open up to that level of vulnerability within ourselves, we can connect with others in a deeper, more meaningful way, because we have that resonance of those shared experiences. And that also includes our romantic relationships. Somehow we've come to believe that we are separate from everybody else, but we truly aren't. So if we want to take a look at where all of this came from, many of our insecurities came from our childhood, and this might help put things into perspective as well, because the truth of the matter is that no one escapes their childhood unscathed. There is always something that is left over from our childhood that somehow influences our feelings of worthiness, lovability, deservedness. But at what point do we start to see ourselves as whole and complete inner imperfection, because eventually, if we don't, we will start to experience the pain of not doing the work on ourselves. And as a result, we feel this pain because it's the separation. We separate ourselves from ourselves. We are also disconnected from others, and we need that connection, right? Remember what I said, we need connection and we crave deeper connections. So in order to do that, we need to cultivate a healthy relationship with ourselves so that we can start to open up to others. So let's look at something that Shakespeare wrote that may help put things into perspective for you. He wrote, "All of the world's a stage, and each one of us are actors playing our parts. And when the play is over, we all go home." So when we stop to consider the deeper meaning of this, it's really quite profound, because we think that our lifetime is a long time. And when we're living it day to day, life seems to drag on for a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really a mere blip in time. So as we look at this whole concept of time, and that we're just actors playing parts on a stage, and when the play is over, we all go home, we have to ask ourselves, what quality of life, relationships, and connections do we really want to have here? Do we want to be so consumed in our past, or do we want to look at the pain of our past and learn to transform our perceived negative experiences and learn to integrate that into wisdom so that we can have happier relationships and a happier life, and, moving forward into the future? Because we are here to have life experiences, and not all life experiences are good. We need to have some bad experiences, because that's how we grow and we learn. We're also here to cultivate relationships, because it's through our relationships that we also experience growth. If we were just, in our little silos doing our own little thing, there's not a lot of growth that happens within that safety bubble. We're also here to love and to be loved for as long as we're here. So every heartbreak and every disappointment is an opportunity to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, to learn more about who we are. And it's our ability to be honest about what's going on with us internally. We have to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we're not even honest with ourselves, with what's going on in our lives and going on internally. But when we're able to look at that, it's going to help us heal that part of us where we bury things deep within. And it also allows others to help us heal, and conversely, we can help them heal as well. So when we look at why do we pick ourselves apart and decide that we are unacceptable and not worthy of meaningful connections, I encourage you to take a deeper dive into how that's helping you in your life and what parts need to be dug up for investigation. And I do want to acknowledge that sometimes the work is painful, and it brings up a lot of uncomfortable feelings. And we also don't like to feel uncomfortable, but we end up causing ourselves more pain in the long run by not allowing ourselves to sit with discomfort within ourselves. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please like it, leave a comment below. I read every comment. I respond to every comment. Please share it if you know of somebody that could greatly benefit from hearing this information. If there is anything that I can help you with, I invite you to visit my website, book a complimentary call with me, and we'll see how we can work through some of the old luggage together. And until I see you again, I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Be well.